love him. We envy him. And we all want to be him.
Cutie pie, you're a cutie pie.
Keanu Reeves has proven that he is superhuman, with an out-of-this-world bank balance to go with it. The beloved actor has made enormous strides in the entertainment industry, from his first on-screen role, which came with a lousy $3,000 paycheck, to starring in multi-million-dollar blockbusters. This actor's made headlines for decades, but aside from the mega mansions and the motorcycles, he doesn't spend like your typical Hollywood rock star. Keanu is generous, selfless, and giving, and that's why we all adore him. Look up any list of the most beloved actors in Hollywood, and you're all but guaranteed to find this man's name right at the top. But before we dive headfirst into the wonderful world of Keanu, let's rewind. How did this iconic actor go from a hotel and trailer-hopping up-and-comer to a mansion-slinging, motorcycle-riding, constantly meme-ified industry legend? Before he was an actor, Keanu wanted to play ice hockey. He was actually voted MVP at De La Salle College, where he was a goalie for the school team. So it couldn't have been more fitting that he laced on the skates for his debut big-screen role as a goalie in Youngblood, a hockey flick starring Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze. Reeves reportedly only made around $3,000 for his role. Now that he's worth hundreds of millions, it was pennies on the dollar. His big break came with the 1989 comedy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, followed by Parenthood and Point Break. Zip forward to today, and with a spankin' highlight reel including The Matrix, Speed, and John Wick, Keanu's net worth sits at a sizzling $360 million. That edges him ahead of Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and places him miles in front of a list of other household names. It would take 5 Ryan Goslings or 18 Andy Sambergs to match it with Keanu's hefty bank balance. If we scrutinize his wallet-busting payments, you'll start to see where all the talk of Mr. Reeves being Mr. Nice Guy really comes from. Take the Matrix movies, for example. For the first Matrix installment, he raked in a cool $35 million. Once he'd slapped that cash in the bank, when it came time to negotiate the moolah for the second and third films, Keanu insisted on handing over a significant portion of his profits, multi-millions in fact, to the film's costume design and special effects teams. Damn, that is selfless. Throughout his career, unlike many other big names in the industry, Reeves has remained exceptionally humble, always acting with kindness to those on set. Case in point when Keanu took on the metaphorical role of Santa Claus on the set of The Matrix, gifting a struggling set builder a Christmas bonus of $20,000 to alleviate some family trouble. Alright, now just because Keanu Reeves, whose name literally means cool breeze over the mountains in Hawaiian, has proven himself as a selfless, caring, and humble man, that doesn't mean he doesn't like to splurge a little bit of his hard-earned cash from time to time. Even though it did take him close to 18 years after starting his career to own his first home, making the initial real estate purchase in 2003, the all-star actor now boasts a property portfolio fit for a king. Ready to see his darn delightful mansions? First up, allow us to welcome you to Keanu's Hollywood Hills home, which he's dubbed his Chateau Moderne. With a list of famous neighbors including the likes of Calvin Klein and Leonardo DiCaprio, it should come as no surprise that this extravagant pad is jam-packed with all the gizmos, gadgets, and luxury touches that we could ever imagine. However, since Keanu's relatively secretive about his personal life, not too much of the interior has been leaked. We'd guess that there's a $50,000 theater room in there somewhere, which he would refuse to use, of course, because he's too humble to watch his own films. Anyway, the 5,607 square foot mansion, which cost him $4.85 million, is now estimated to be worth a whopping $8.07 million. Talk about a good investment. It comes with a pool, a 3-car garage, and a sizable courtyard to soak in that Southern California sun. Speaking of sun, why own just one sun-kissed property when you can own 2? Apparently the famed actor has, or at least had, claims to this jaw-dropping piece of real estate over in Honolulu, Hawaii. With a 30-foot waterfall lining the entranceway as the main feature, nature-flavored opulence is everywhere. The gorgeous home, which covers a massive 10,245 square feet, consists of 6 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms spread across 3 stories. Since Hawaii is renowned for its pristine weather, he can afford a main living area that transitions between indoor and outdoor. It's got a real cabana feel, and we absolutely love it. And for the cherry on top, look no further than the stunning infinity pool. The price? Oh boy, $6.8 million. Could you see yourself living here? Keanu's also been spoken of as the owner of a Malibu mansion. Apparently, that's just the rumor mill churning at full speed, and there isn't much truth to the matter. It's not like the internet to tell lies. If you woke up tomorrow with $360 million in your bank account, besides a few fancy pants houses, what else would be on the shopping list? We're guessing either a couple ultra-luxurious or lightning-fast sports cars. While for the majority of celebrities that statement couldn't ring truer, it doesn't for Keanu. Despite how awesome he looks behind the wheel of a Mustang in John Wick or a non-stop bus in Speed, Keanu is more of a motorcycle guy himself. Sure, he's slung praise for his $100,000 Porsche 911 Carrera and his rare air-cooled Porsche 933, but his heart ultimately lies with the two-wheelers. With such long hair, it deserves to flow in the wind. His long list of bikes, which he chops and changes on a day-to-day basis, is headlined by this old-school Norton Commando. These models were relaunched in 2008, but the build in Keanu's collection is a classic from 1973. They're sought after by many collectors and regularly fetch well over $10,000. He's also apparently a die-hard fan of Suzuki motorcycles, particularly back when he was first starting out on two wheels. Over the years, he has owned a Suzuki GS 1100E, which was worth over $4,000 in the early 80s, and a Suzuki GSX R750 worth upwards of $12,000. On top of those, throw in a 1974 BMW 750, these days still worth over $5,000, a Kawasaki KZ900, which can fetch between $5 and $10K at auctions, an 84 Harley Shovelhead capable of reaching $30,000, and a Moto Guzzi, which retails for over $10,000. His first ever bike, before all these others, a Kawasaki 600 Enduro. As it turns out, Keanu doesn't just go out and buy a bike here and there, he actually designs them himself. Yep, he's that cool. America's sweetheart is also quite the businessman. As part owner of a company called Arch Motorcycle, Keanu has the power and the means to build and design custom bikes until the cows come home. He founded the company back in 2011 with his partner Gard Hollinger, and the pair currently offer 3 different custom models, each built for cruising. With a starting price of $78,000, including a mandatory deposit of $15,000 per bike, Arch Motorcycles are not exactly for the average biker. However, you get more than a bike, you get a slice of Keanu. A few years ago, the company ran a once-in-a-lifetime promotion. For $150,000, clients would receive their very own brand new customized bike and a 2-day riding experience with Keanu Reeves and his partner. 150 smackaroonies for a weekend alongside Hollywood's favorite human? Would you do it? We would. It's presumed that the great man invested at least a few $1,000,000 into the business. When we say the name Keanu Reeves, what word comes to mind? Go ahead, yell it out. Cool dude.
Neo.
Actor.
Matrix.
Well, for a lot of people, the word that comes to mind is generous. And we'll tell you exactly why that couldn't be more accurate. After working on The Matrix, Keanu was indebted to the stuntmen for their tireless work. So, how do you think he showed his gratitude? Yep, you guessed it, with motorcycles. You get a motorcycle. You get a motorcycle. Everyone gets a motorcycle. Harley Davidsons, to be specific, which would have easily set him back a few $100,000 in total, if not more. In the man's very own words,
Money is the last thing I think about. I could live on what I already made for the next few centuries.
That's why he took a huge pay cut for the Matrix sequels, rumored to be $50 million, just so the unsung heroes behind the scenes could get a pay boost. Then there was that time when Keanu bought longtime janitor Randolph Gregory his very own store in St. Louis, a purchase likely well exceeding $100,000 just to brighten up Randolph's life. He's also donated significant amounts to PETA, the Sick Kids Foundation, and SCORE, a charity founded in support of hockey players with spinal injuries, and operated his own private, nondescript foundation which provided aid to a couple of children's hospitals, to which he donated millions. If you're still not convinced that this man is even more selfless than he is wealthy, then this strange yet incredible act of kindness is sure to sway you over. After buying a movie ticket one day, Keanu approached the staff member who had sold him the ticket a couple of minutes later and said,
I realize you probably wanted my autograph, so I signed this.
What he was holding was a signed receipt from the snack bar where he had bought an ice cream. Keanu then threw the ice cream cone in the trash. Yup, he bought something that he didn't want just so that he could sign a receipt for a 16-year-old fan who was too shy to ask for his autograph. Of course, the Tinseltown star does take a little time for himself every now and then to travel and see the world. Thoroughly deserved vacations if you ask us. Over the years, he's spent hundreds of thousands jetting around the globe, spotted in places like Cannes, Sydney, New York City, and Saint-Tropez, just to name a few.